Yeah, I had came off finals week and went down to Alabama A&M against a team very hungry for a win. They were what we expected. They played extremely hard. We came out with not a great amount of focus from the beginning of the game. Gave up 2 layups on their first 2 possessions and turned the ball over. And gave up a pretty good sized lead. We got down 8 or 9 early, and then regained our focus, or got our focus for the first time, and came back and then took an 8 or 9 point lead. And it was just one of those things where if they were in the game, they were going to play hard, and they were going to fight for every second. You were going to be in for a battle, and that's what we did. For whatever reason, I wasn't able to have our team focused enough from the beginning of the game. And we can say, well, coming off finals week and this and that, but there's just no excuses for it, and we've got to do a better job, especially this week going into a very, very talented Stetson team with 5 players averaging double figures. They've 3 of their losses are to BCS teams, so you can look at their 5-4 record and throw that out the window, and they're outstanding at home. So.
You talked about handling a tough environment down there. Do you think that was part of it, the fact that just –
No, I don't think that was – I mean, what happened, the opening tip, we line up in a defensive tip formation. They line up in a defensive tip formation. They win the tip it back to their leading scorer, and she walks the ball across half court, and nobody ever picked her up, and she goes straight to the rim and shoots a layup to start the game. And that's not that's a tough environment type thing. That's a lack of focus thing, and that's, I wasn't overly pleased with a couple of things in our preparation for the game. And, maybe I oversold the environment to our team. Maybe I pushed them too hard during finals week, but for whatever reason, we just weren't ready to play. And consequently, we struggled. And then when we have a chance to win the game, you're at that point. It's a real dangerous thing to start with focus issues. Sometimes your juniors and seniors, can not be 100% tuned in, and they can get it going during the course of the game and be ready to go. But you can't do that with inexperience. You got to be locked in all the time, and we just weren't for whatever reason. And it's give Alabama A&M a lot of credit. They played extremely hard. I think I told everybody, you can't look at their record. They had 3 losses to BCS teams and were competing at a high level. They just didn't make a lot of shots in their early games. They didn't make a lot against us. They made enough, and we struggled shooting it as well. So, it was just a bad combination.
Talk about just this trip to DeLand and what that does for you with the back-to-back games.
Well, the one thing, it gives us a tournament atmosphere for the first time. It gives us a chance to play back-to-back games for the first time, so we'll have had that experience when we get into the OVC tournament, hopefully. And, it's good quality competition. Both teams are athletic. A little different style between the 2 of them, between Stetson and Bethune-Cookman. But Stetson they pose a lot of problems. They have a lot of kids that can shoot it deep. They have good athleticism. They have good length. They're an outstanding team. And then Bethune-Cookman is a different type of team. Yeah, they really are, 1 or 2 shooters and a lot of athletic ability. And they're going to try to create more turnovers and those type things, whereas Stetson may play us a lot of zone. So it's going to be really good for us. My concern is that we're locked in and focused, and that we're not concerned about where are we going for Christmas break until after the final horn sounds on the second game. That's my concern with this team right now. Can I do a good enough job, and our staff do a good enough job of getting them to be focused until the final horn sounds?
you talked a lot about rebounding being the key. You were out-rebounded there. You was outscoring the paint 30-16. Talk about continuing that over.
And that was, that's, again, I mean, I attribute that all to focus because we're in position on most of those plays watching the film. And, we're standing right by somebody and let them get a rebound and a putback. And we had a stretch where they were really struggling scoring. and they get 3 or 4 offensive rebounds and score. And it's tough to overcome that at any time, but especially on the road when you're struggling shooting the ball. I mean, you know, we had opportunities and just couldn't make shots. Well, if we were shooting our normal percentage from the perimeter, we could probably get away with that. Also, if we were taking care of the basketball like we normally had been, we could probably get away with that. But they really exposed that. You know, we turned it over 17 times, and A&M played a lot of zone during the game. They really didn't do anything to force turnovers. So, you know, I attribute that to, you know, it goes back to focus. I mean, 17 turnovers, probably 13 of them were unforced completely, and 20 offensive rebounds. And, you know, that's a recipe for a defeat for our team. There's no question.
How do you deal with that going forward, or is it something that basically takes care of itself because they see what the result was?
Hopefully that's the case. It's very similar to when we were getting ready to play Wright State, as far as, you know, for how we were in practice. As a matter of fact, you know, as a coach, I made the comment to our team during practice one day this week. You all look just like you looked 2 days before we played Wright State, and that doesn't make me feel very good. And, you know, I probably should have done something different from a coaching standpoint. You know, didn't want to lose my mind and go off on them because of finals week. I want to, you know, kind of, I probably gave them too much leeway in that regard, you know, so hopefully I've learned something, and hopefully they've learned something. You know, the thing is, you know, we just can't use youth as an excuse for not being locked in like we should be, you know, and that's, you know, that's on the coaching staff. We've got to do a better job of making sure that they're ready to play. And, you know, once you step across the lines, it's all on the players. But, you know, maybe I could have subbed earlier. You know, I called a timeout 22 seconds into the game because we had given up 2 wide-open layups where we didn't guard the ball at all. Nobody matched up with the ball. You know, maybe I should have taken everybody out instead of calling the timeout. So, you know, hopefully, you know, we learn from that and we move on. The players understand Alabama A&M's got some talent, but we lost to a team that, you know, our players feel like they're a better team than the team that just beat them. And so they understood that when I walked in the locker room after the game. You know, it's one of the first things Jessica Winfrey said. So, you know, hopefully we learn from it.
Coach, one thing we've seen after your losses is you shuffle the lineup some. Could we expect that again? Or?
Oh, I don't know. It'll depend on how practice goes this week. You know, it's, you know, the question, you know, I haven't shuffled it after every loss, or maybe I have. I really don't know. You know, I'm not as worried about the result of the game, win or loss, as I am about how we played and whether we were ready to play. You know, as far as not shooting it, I mean, Keanu Kirby was 0 for 6 from the three-point line. That's not going to happen a lot. We missed a lot of good wide-open looks. You know, you're going to have nights, especially when you're a perimeter-oriented team, you're going to have nights where you miss shots, but it's the lack of focus that really concerns me. You know, and hopefully they've learned the lesson that you can't play that game. You know, you've got to be ready to go every time you step on the court. It's Division I basketball. Everybody's on scholarship. Everybody's paying money for their program. Everybody's capable of beating you. So hopefully we've learned that.